Americans have been busy screaming about atrocities on the other side of the world, worse than when all those hoverboards from China were catching fire, melting 5-year-olds, and ruining our hopes of ever going back to the future. But yes, Americans are furious at what's being done to Ukrainians, which the U.S. government had no role in whatsoever. The Nazis our government is funding over there are the good kind of Nazis. You know, the guy who buckles you in on the illegal off-the-grid bungee jump in Arizona who happens to have a swastika tat on his neck, but you trust him with your life because you already paid the non-refundable $300 and your fiance wants to see if you're man enough to go through with it. So what choice do you have? Those kind of Nazis, not the bad kind of Nazis. And that's why 6 years ago, the U.S. Congress actually removed a ban on funding neo-Nazis from its spending bill. I can't decide which is sadder, the fact that they put a ban on funding neo-Nazis into law in the first place because clearly they had a problem with that kind of thing. You know, kind of like putting the liquor bottle above the cabinet to try to stop yourself from drinking so much. Or the fact that Congress then decided, well, we should remove this ban because we might want to fund some Nazis. You never know. Maybe they have some really good Nazi merch and we want to buy some, beer cozies with Hitler's face on them to hand out to lobbyists in the Senate. You never know. Or maybe we want to hire a Nazi scientist to get us to the moon again. Who can be sure? You know we did that, right? As the LA Times covered in 2020, who got America to the moon? An unlikely collaboration of Jewish and former Nazi scientists and engineers. Yes, unlikely is the new slang the kids are using, which means completely fucked up. Remember that time American ally Saudi Arabia chopped up a Washington Post journalist? That was pretty unlikely. But wait, Lee, isn't Russia perpetrating a horrible war on Ukraine that's killing thousands? Yep, yeah, you see, both can be true. Russia can be invading Ukraine and killing people, and I can be opposed to that. And the U.S. can have been responsible for helping make this happen. Both can be true, because you and I are not children. I mean, I hope you aren't. If you are, turn this off right now, because you're learning words you shouldn't, like chunt. If you don't know what that is, don't Google it or you'll have to scrub your eyeballs with nail polish remover. Anyway, both can be true. Russia is wrong to invade, and the U.S. empire is wrong to fund and arm Nazis and expand NATO, etc., etc. As adults, we're able to understand that pulling a cat's tail can get your face clawed without endorsing the clawing of faces. You see, when a child grabs a cat's tail and gets clawed, we say, I'm sorry you're in pain, but don't pull the cat's tail. We don't say, the responsibility is only on the cat, I will take it out back and throw it in the wood chipper. Anyway, point is, while most Americans are only concerned about wrongdoing in Ukraine, right here in the U.S., the largest prison state in the world, we're not behaving so well ourselves. South Carolina just announced they're now ready to carry out executions again by firing squad. Oh, good. Let's get back to the times when squirrel was considered a delicacy and you had to wait until a lady was the ripe old age of 12 to marry her after offering the appropriate dowry, roughly 14 goats, to her former owner. Glad to see we're really evolved. Not only is the U.S. one of the few countries left that performs good old legal murders, but we decided the grisly act of killing people with chemicals was too much work. So why don't we just shoot them in the head? The state of South Carolina spent $53,000 to renovate the capital punishment facility at Broad River Correctional Institution in Columbia to include the capacity to perform an execution by firing squad. Renovating the facility? They can't afford to renovate their flag from the old one or their house from the one with wheels on it, but they have enough money to make their place look nice, to shoot some folks. It's not cheap, by the way, to make, killing look really nice. If you want to bring back the firing squad, you have to put in bleachers, you have to buy a bunch of bleach to clean up afterwards. So yeah, most of the costs are bleach related. That and the mascot outfit for the pre-show to keep the crowd warmed up. South Carolina is deciding between Flamey the firing squad fire and the Grim Reaper. But they couldn't afford both E's in the word Reaper, so some people aren't too excited about it. Really should have sprung for the first E. But thank goodness we're bringing back firing squads. Maybe next to the firing squad we can have a painting of Jesus riding a dinosaur, just to show what kind of intellectual level we're at. And then there's the fact that 4% of death row inmates are actually innocent. But that's a small price to pay to kill the bad guys. Well, not a small price for the innocent people we kill. That's a pretty big price. In fact, that's like that's the biggest price you could pay for them. For them, huge price. But so what? The point of the death penalty is to kill all the evil geniuses who need to be stopped from their inventive and dastardly ways. Although, statistically speaking, they're mentally challenged evil geniuses. Even mainstream liberal outlet The Washington Post found that 43% of inmates executed between 2000 and 2015 had received a mental illness diagnosis at some point in their lives. Almost half of all the people the U.S. kills are mentally ill. That's only 10% less than the percentage of our government that's mentally ill. So really, the death penalty is just a super permanent way to deal with mental illness in our society. If a brain's not functioning properly, better just take them out into the yard and end it. Of course, if that were the case, Biden and Trump would have found themselves out back the shed with the Grim Reaper years ago, as well as Dog the Bounty Hunter, Mickey Rourke, 7 members of the Supreme Court, 98% of the House of Representatives, 50% of the Alston twins, and Anne Hathaway. She knows what she did. That's it for now. If you want to see more like this, become a member at patreon.com/Lee Camp. And if you think the truth matters, share this. If you think it doesn't matter, also share this. Just please share this. And keep fighting.